You ever say something so stupid, so reckless, that the moment it leaves your lips, you just know you've crossed a line you can't come back from? Yeah, that was me. And by the time I realized it, my wife was already gone. It started as just another Saturday night in Oakwood Estates, the kind of neighborhood where everyone knows your business before you do. The Millers were hosting their annual summer barbecue, the kind of event where the men huddled around the grill arguing about football, the women swapped gossip over sangria, and the kids ran wild until someone inevitably scraped a knee. My wife, Kayla, had spent all afternoon prepping her famous buffalo dip, the one everyone secretly raved about but never admitted because, well, that's just how petty suburbia is. She was quiet that day, more than usual, but I didn't think much of it. Kayla had always been the steady one to rock. The woman who laughed off my dumb jokes, who played along when the guys ribbed me about forgetting our anniversary again. Big mistake. Because when Greg Thompson, loudmouth, three-time divorcee, and self-proclaimed life of the party, started in on his usual shtick, I didn't shut down. I joined in. Kayla, babe, you sure you didn't burn the dip this time? Greg smirked, elbowing me like we were in on some secret. I chuckled. Nah, man, she only burns it when she's mad at me. Right, babe? Kayla just smiled, tight, polite, the kind of smile that should have set off alarms. But I kept going. By the third beer, the jokes got sharper. Kayla's the real boss in our house. Fellas, I just live there. The guys roared. The women side-eyed. And Kayla? She sipped her drink, her expression unreadable. Then Greg, bless his disaster of a soul, dropped the bomb. Man, if my ex-wives cooked like Kayla, maybe I'd still be married. Cue laughter. Cue me, idiot of the year, adding, yeah, well, good thing Kayla can't leave. Who'd feed me? Silence. Not the awkward kind. The oh shit we gone too far kind. Kayla set her glass down. Slowly. Deliberately. Then she stood. Actually, she said, voice eerily calm, I can. And I will. The backyard froze. Even the kids stopped screaming. I laughed. Babe, come on, you're killing the vibe. She didn't laugh back. Pack your things. You got until Monday. And just like that, she walked out. Left me standing there, beer in hand, with 20 pairs of eyes staring at me like I was the dumbest man alive. Spoiler, I was. Because Kayla wasn't joking. By Monday, she'd changed the locks. By Wednesday, her lawyer called. And by the end of the month, she was gone. But this was only the beginning. They say divorce brings out the worst in people. But no one warned me it would turn my wife into a stranger, and my neighbors into vultures circling fresh meat. I stood on our porch, my porch, damn it, jiggling the key like an idiot while rain soaked through my shirt. The locks had been changed. Kayla had changed them. My phone buzzed. A text from my brother. Dude, you're trending in the neighborhood group chat. Screenshot attached. Greg Thompson, Oakwood Estates barbecue king. LMAO. Kayla finally snapped. Told y'all she'd dump his ass. Karen Miller, hostess with the mostest. Greg, be nice. But did anyone get video? Grimacing face. I swallowed hard. This wasn't just a fight. This was entertainment now. Kayla's lawyer, a shark in a pantsuit named Diane, met me at a Starbucks like I was a business deal gone bad. Kayla's terms are simple, she said, sliding papers across the table. The house, the savings, the dog, hers. You get your golf clubs and that hideous recliner. I choked on my coffee. That's it? After 10 years. Diane didn't blink. Kayla says you've joked for years about how she does nothing. Now you get to prove you don't need her. The kicker? She wasn't wrong. At the neighborhood pool, Greg clapped me on the back like we were buddies. Rough break, man. But hey, Kayla's been venting to my ex-wife for months. You really didn't notice? My stomach dropped. Months? Then Greg's ex, Sarah, slid into my DMs. Meet me. Kayla's not who you think. Lisa used to run to Target every Thursday at 9 p.m. Turns out, Target closes at 10. Sarah handed me a photo, Kayla, at a downtown hotel bar, laughing with a guy in a suit. She called him her escape plan. Karen Miller accidentally sent me a voice note meant for Kayla. Girl, he's falling for it. When do we reveal the Airbnb receipts? Airbnb? I confronted Kayla at her new apartment, which, by the way, she'd leased 2 months before the party. You set me up, I yelled. You wanted out, so you made me the villain. Kayla just smiled, cold, calculated. No, Mark, you did that yourself. Every joke, every dig. I just stopped laughing. Then he walked out her bedroom. Mr. Suit from the photo. Mark, right? He extended a hand, smug. Kayla's told me so much about you. I saw red. Punch a wall. Not him. I'm not that stupid. And of course, Karen filmed the whole thing. Greg's ex-wife, Sarah, slid into my DMs for real, Turns out, she's not a fan of Kayla either. The neighborhood group chat exploded. Did Mark really get left for a banker? My recliner got accidentally set on fire during a guy's poker night. Thanks, Greg. But the biggest twist? Kayla wasn't just leaving me. She was leaving Oakwood Estates. And Mr. Suit? He lived in the same building as her Target runs. Turns out, the jokes weren't jokes. The marriage wasn't a marriage. And the party? That was just the first domino to fall. I stood in the driveway of what used to be our home, staring at a bright yellow notice taped to the door. The bank was foreclosing on the house. That didn't make sense. I knew we'd been making our mortgage payments. Or at least I thought we had. Then I remembered something. Kayla always got to the mail before I did. She'd been handling all our bills for years, ever since that one time I forgot to pay the electric bill. Had she been lying about the payments this whole time? Mrs. Henderson from across the street had been giving me strange looks for weeks. Today, I finally went over to talk to her. Her house smelled like cookies and medicine. I knew you'd come by eventually, she said, pouring me some tea. Last winter, I saw Kaya carrying boxes to one of those storage places late at night. Then in spring, I caught her climbing out your basement window at 3 a.m. When I asked what she was doing, she said she'd locked herself out. That was weird. We'd always kept a spare key under the deck. I went home and searched the kitchen until I found a small key taped behind the spice rack. It opened a storage unit at a place called Store All. Inside were all the things Kayla had told me she donated, my grandma's dishes, my favorite books, even my old bowling trophy. At the back was a metal box with some papers that made my hands shake. Our marriage certificate was fake. The signature wasn't from the nice old guy who married us on the beach. It was from some guy who'd been in trouble for fraud years ago. The lease for Kayla's new apartment? She'd signed it a week before the barbecue where she left me. And get this, she'd listed herself as single on the paperwork. That night, I checked our computer and found something even worse. Hidden in the deleted files were pictures of Kayla with our marriage counselor at a winery, 2 weeks before our first session. There were also screenshots of money being sent to some account in another country. Then the private investigator I hired showed me something that made me feel sick. Hospital records said I'd had a vasectomy in 2019. Problem is, I never had one. Someone had faked my signature on the forms. And here's the worst part. Kayla was pregnant when she left me. 8 months pregnant, according to the photos the PI found. As I was trying to process all this, my phone buzzed. Kayla had posted in our neighborhood Facebook group. There she was, smiling with her big pregnant belly, standing with our old marriage counselor in front of our house with a sold sign. The caption said, "New beginnings with the love of my life." All our friends were commenting congratulations. Even my own sister. That's when I realized the barbecue wasn't just some fight that got out of hand. It was all part of Kayla's plan. And everyone around me had known what was happening except for me. I was sitting in my tiny apartment over Joe's garage, staring at the ceiling when my phone rang. Unknown caller. Normally, I wouldn't answer, but something told me to pick up. A deep, raspy voice on the other end said, "You don't know me, but I think we have a problem in common." Her name is Kayla. Turns out, the man on the phone was David Carter, Kayla's first husband, the one who supposedly died in a car accident 5 years before I met her. Except, he was very much alive, and he had a story to tell. We met at a diner outside town. David was a tall guy, mid-40s, with scars on his hands and a wary look in his eyes. "Kayla told you I was dead, didn't she?" he said, stirring his coffee. I nodded. "Yeah, she told everyone that." He slid an old newspaper clipping across the table. But this was just a lie she paid some guy to print in a small-town paper. The article was an obituary for David Carter, complete with a fake funeral announcement. "She did the same thing to me that she's doing to you," he said. "Stole money, forged documents, even faked medical records." Then he dropped the biggest bomb yet. "That baby she's carrying? It's not yours. And it's not even the counselor's." David pulled out his phone and showed me a photo. Kayla at a resort in Mexico, laughing with a man in a suit. "Recognize him?" I squinted. "No. Who is he?" "Some lawyer from the city. Kayla's been seeing him for years. Long before she met you. Long before she met the counselor, too." David explained that Kayla had a pattern. She'd target a guy, marry him, take his money, and then move on to the next victim. "She's been doing this for over a decade," he said. "And she's good at it." David and I teamed up. We dug through old records, talked to private investigators, and even tracked down another ex-husband Kayla had scammed, a guy in Florida who thought she died in a boating accident. Turns out, Kayla had a whole network of fake identities, forged documents, and paid-off witnesses. But we found her weak spot: the money. Kayla had gotten sloppy. She'd left a trail, bank transfers, property deeds, even a fake social security number. And we had proof. We found Kayla at her new house, the one she'd bought with my money. She was unloading baby stuff from her car when she saw us. For the first time ever, Kayla looked scared. "What are you doing here?" she snapped. David stepped forward. "We know everything, Kayla. The fake marriages, the stolen money, the lies." She laughed, that same cold laugh I'd heard at the barbecue. "Prove it." So I did. I pulled out the folder, the one with all the evidence we gathered. "We already took this to the police," I said, "and the IRS, and the FBI." Lisa's face went pale. Lisa was arrested 2 days later for fraud, forgery, and identity theft. The counselor lost his license when the truth came out. The house was returned to me, along with most of the stolen money. The baby? Turns out, the real father was the lawyer from Mexico. And when he found out the truth, he bailed fast. Lisa's perfect plan had completely unraveled. 5 months later, I sold the house in Oakwood Estates. Too many memories. I moved to a small town up north, bought a little cabin by a lake, and got a dog. Not the one Kayla took. I wasn't about to fight her for that. David and I stayed in touch. Turns out he's a pretty good guy. We even go fishing sometimes. As for Kayla, last I heard, she took a plea deal. She'll be in prison for a long time. And me? I'm finally free. Sometimes, the person you trust the most is the one who'll hurt you the worst. But if you're lucky, and if you fight hard enough, you get a second chance. And that's worth everything.